People that believe in themselves piss people off. They do piss people off because they expose our lack of belief in ourselves.
Ooh, that's a bar.
But they force us to deal with that.
That's a bar.
And it is true. You see people who go, I can do this, I can do whatever. And this Logan Paul situation, I can see why his self-belief rubs people the wrong way. But when you see somebody do the thing that they more or less said that they were going to do, right? It is wildly impressive, and it forces you to go, oh shit, maybe anything is possible. Now, I'm not going to be delusional here, okay? He did not win that fight. If there were judges, he would have lost that fight on the cards very easily.
Every round.
No, I think he won. The first round, I think he won. He had that big flurry where he didn't really touch Floyd, but Floyd didn't really touch him. So I'll give him the first round. Maybe the second round.
Debatable.
Maybe. Yeah. After that, Floyd mopped him. He did land a big overhand right on Floyd that I think actually stunned Floyd.
Really?
Yeah, he did. There was I forget which round it was in, but he actually landed. But what was amazing about this fight is the stakes were changed where Floyd had to stop him for Floyd to win.
Right.
And Logan had to survive for him to win.
Right.
Right? It wasn't written down, right, that these were the rules, but those were the rules emotionally. And we were all going into it, and we were just like, listen, I swear to God, I've probably even said it, Floyd is going to take him into deep water, and then you're going to take him down. I mean, everybody I messaged, I'm literally, I DM'd Stylebender yesterday before the fight. I was like, what do you think is really going to happen? He goes, Floyd's going to tire him out, and then he'll just probably TKO him. They'll stop the fight late in the fight. I thought that was going to happen. And it didn't happen. And Floyd tried. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, he was holding him, blah, 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 this, that, the other. A lot of people tried holding Floyd. They weren't 200 pounds, but now you're bringing up 200 pounds. I was absolutely astonished when I saw Twitter start capping. Everybody on Twitter was talking about, I mean, you even saw Diaz and Mero, who said that, Floyd was going to catch a body tonight, switch and be like, well, that's kind of Floyd's fight. They did a fucking phenomenal job, though. I thought they were great. Absolutely great. Yeah. Shouts to Diaz and Mero. But they initially there was, Floyd's catching a body, he's going to take him down, it's over. And then that turned into, listen, that's what Floyd does. The guy's much bigger, and everybody starts making these excuses for Floyd. Charlamagne is sending our group text after saying Floyd was going to get him out of here on the podcast. I'm almost 100% certain. Goes, that's what Floyd does. I mean, he was going to win a decision. Ain't nobody pay for a decision.
Yeah.
People were paying money to see a Paul brother get knocked out. I think people were so annoyed with Jake, they were willing to pay to see Logan get knocked out.
Right.
And it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And that is a win for Logan.
Yeah.
And you're capping if you say otherwise. I admit I'm 100% wrong. I thought Logan was going down. I thought Logan was going down in the 5th or 6th round.
Yeah.
And I thought they were just going to stop the fight. The distance was too much for Floyd to cover.
Yeah.
He wasn't fast enough to cover. Maybe when he was younger, Floyd, he would be able to, but he wasn't fast. And he wasn't willing to take the risk in order to land those punches.
Right.
I thought Floyd fought very conservatively.
Yeah.
He walked down there with his hands up, and he was trying to mix it up on the inside, but he wasn't really trying to counter that much.
Yeah.
It was very impressive. Hats off to fucking Logan.
Now, was that Floyd playing it safe because he's like, I'm just here to get paid?
I think Logan was right. Floyd had the most to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And the guy's 200 pounds. I think what happened was in the first round, Floyd was like, oh, God, the guy's kind of fast.
Okay.
And at 200 pounds, you hit hard.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And he was like, okay, so I got to kind of be cautious with this guy. I don't want to get caught and then look absolutely stupid out here. And then Floyd started to bully him. He basically let him punch himself out the first couple rounds, right? That's the strategy. Same thing happened with McGregor, right?
Right.
Let McGregor be super active in the first few rounds.
Right.
Once McGregor's tired, he won't have the same sting on his punches, and then you just start walking him down, body shots upstairs. Yeah. And Floyd was trying to get him out of there.
Right.
Floyd was annoyed. I haven't seen Floyd annoyed in a fight since he fought Victor Ortiz, when Victor Ortiz was headbutting him.
Right.
And remember, he hit him with that check hook when the ref separated him and then just finished him.
Yeah.
But that's the last time I seen Floyd. Floyd was like, stop holding. He was upset. Floyd wanted to get Logan out of there.
Right.
He was not content with just letting the fight go and then go to the distance. He wanted to get him out of there, and he couldn't.
Right.
He couldn't get him out of there. Okay. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't get him out of there.
Yeah.
And somehow the fight shifted to Floyd has to stop him or else he loses. That's not the case. Floyd won the fight,
right?
But he lost it.
Right.
And hats off to Logan, bro.
If you score, I mean, the rules when you played Jason Williams were actually if you score 1 point, you win.
Exactly.
But
that's it.
Even if I played Brian Scalabrine and it was 11-1, I won. You won, but how you let me score a point, dog? Come on.
You decide these rules. Somehow the rules that Floyd decided actually helped Logan.
Which way? Which rules?
Because there's no decision on the fight, no judges.
Okay.
So and the bigger gloves.
Yeah.
If there were smaller gloves, maybe those shots that Floyd is landing, they sting a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If there were smaller gloves.
Yeah.
You never know. If there were judges and they all just said 8-0 Floyd or 7-1 Logan.
Yeah.
Now Logan can't go out and say I beat him.
Right.
Logan is literally going, I won. Jake Paul's going, I won. All the casual fight fans have no clue what the fuck happened. All they saw is that their guy went 8 rounds with the greatest to ever do it and didn't really look that beat up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't super, super conclusive. I mean, it's not like, he was bullying him. He was landing shots and Logan wasn't landing anything the last 6 rounds except that one big bomb. But it wasn't so abusive that you're like, oh, wow, he got destroyed.
Right.
The average casual could go, I guess Logan won.
Yeah.
The casual?
Nah.
All right, maybe not.
Yeah.
but you're playing with narratives now. Now he could just go, the victory was going 8 rounds. Before he's like, I'm going to finish him. And now he's like, I went 8 rounds with the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So it's just, it's really impressive.
Yeah.
It's really impressive.
Because now the decision's kind of up to the court of public opinion.
Yes.
And Logan is better at manipulating the court of public opinion.
Then Floyd, 100%. 100%. But it was amazing to see all the cap on Twitter. He's a heavyweight. Weight divisions matter, which is what Logan was saying the whole fucking time. And now you got all the Floyd stands like myself trying to make little caveats for why Floyd fought like that. Yeah. Floyd was there to finish him, and he couldn't finish him, and that is credit to Logan. Enough said.
I disagree.
Go.
I don't think anybody thought Floyd was going to drop him. Like, Floyd never has knockout
That's what
punch
I was
power.
thinking.
I thought he was going to pick him apart more. I thought, like, the number differences were going to be bigger. Like he did outpunch him 2-1, but still, I thought it was going to be like 4-1 or some shit like that.
It's supposed to be 5-1.
But you got to give him some credit. Like, Logan was holding him every time he tried to mix up with him.
Sure.
So it's like, it's frustrating. And when you do have that much strength over him, he can't break out the hold as easily as he used to be able to.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't discredit Floyd. He's like, he was trying to fight. I give it up to him that, you would going at him, a bigger, stronger guy. You could have gotten knocked out, but he was attacking.
This is the Twitter cap.
It's not cap.
We're talking about the greatest of all time, the greatest to ever box in the history of boxing.
According to Andrew, the greatest to ever do anything. Like,
this is
nobody's better
at
their thing than Floyd is at boxing.
And he couldn't find a way where Logan couldn't hold him.
But in a specific weight class, though, like if he fought Mike Tyson,
that's what I'm saying. Like
if Floyd fought Mike Tyson would win, right?
Well, Mike Tyson's a professional boxer.
Right.
Logan Paul started boxing 3 years ago. If you've been boxing for 25 years, you should be able to find a way. And you're the greatest boxer in history, not only because of your physical attributes, because of your mental attributes. You were finding a way to get out of any situation you've ever been put in. He couldn't do it. Father Time is undefeated. He was too slow. He couldn't close the distance. And he was forced to just straight up walk him down with his gloves up because he couldn't counter him. He was too slow to counter him. There was too much distance. Right? So he's like, I got to just walk straight in. When he walked straight in, that's when he was susceptible to being held.
Right.
He couldn't do it.
I don't think he couldn't counter him because of speed. He couldn't counter him because of just the distance.
Well, distance and speed. Right? There was too much distance to cover with the lack of speed that he has.
He was countering some of them.
He was landing most of his shots. He would open with a hook.
Yeah.
And that wasn't off of a counter. What he was trying to do is hit Logan with this pull too. So Logan would throw his shot, and then he would pull back and then shoot a right hand before Logan could throw his right hand.
Yeah.
And that barely landed.
It didn't land that much, but I'm just saying, I think it didn't land because of the distancing. Like, he had to get super close just to be able to do that counter because he's usually, like, falling back when he throws it.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's hard for, you know.
10 years ago, Floyd lands whatever he wants. Floyd lands whatever he wants. I'm telling you, bro. I'm telling you. He is slower now. But that's to Logan's credit. It was really brilliant what they did. You got to give credit.
I'm taking your word.
I don't understand why nobody wanted to give credit to this guy.
I'm taking your word
credit for not getting TKO'd. I'll give you that.
That's all I'm saying. Like, I never thought he was going to get one punch knockout.
I don't
but
give
I
him
thought
a
he was going
win,
to get
though,
stopped. Son, Floyd was in there with McGregor. Okay? McGregor got his ass kicked way more than Logan Paul.
And I think
way more.
And I would say the difference is height and weight.
Logan Paul started boxing 3 years ago.
Yes, but if a guy 50 pounds heavier than you grabs you, I don't care how good of a boxer you are. You can't break out of that.
All I'm saying is this is now the discussion. Like, everybody's making Logan's argument when everybody was throwing that shit away before yesterday. Before yesterday, Logan was like, there are weight divisions in boxing for a reason, and I'm going to show you why. And everybody's like, shut up. You're going to get your ass chopped down. I'm talking about, like, professional. Everybody asked.
Well, that's when I would ask you. You'd be like, and I think we said if he lands one, maybe Al said it. If he lands one, he could hurt him. And you were like, you're talking about a 1 in a million chance that he lands one.
Yeah.
I went on stage right when the fight started, then flew here, so I'm taking your word for it. But I'm not super shocked by that outcome. And to your point about Conor didn't box 3 years straight. I know Conor boxes well, but he's an MMA guy. Could you say Logan Paul just boxed for 3 years straight in that way, aside from being bigger and more reach and more weight?
No.
He is a better boxer than Conor in just skill and dedication?
No, because you're boxing as part of your preparation for your fight. So he'd been doing that since he was a kid, Conor. Right? Logan hasn't. We're talking about 3 years of boxing experience. All I'm trying to say is the conversation has shifted, and Logan shifted the conversation.
Yes.
The conversation before was he's going to walk him down. I ask any professional, ask anybody in the industry, ask anybody at all. Same perspective. It was Floyd's going to walk him down, and then in the later rounds, he's just going to start piecing him up same way he did to Conor, get the TKO.
Right.
Couldn't do it. And now everybody's like, it's because of the weight differential.
Right.
And that's what Logan said the whole time. And everybody was like, man, get the fuck out of here. You don't got a chance. I said it to his face on a podcast. I go, you don't got a fucking chance.
Yeah.
And he didn't win, but
and
he didn't get
said it to his
TKO.
face. People say that shit to his face.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that is motivating.
Yeah.
And what I found just as like that self-belief thing, I remember before the fight, he tweeted something like, every day when I moved to LA, every morning and every night, I would look in the mirror and say, you're going to be the most famous person in the world one day.
Yeah.
And he's like, and now it's on its way to happening. And you can argue with that. But I was like, yo, that shit works. The people who have that self-belief, not every one of them gets super famous, but I bet you every super famous person does that shit and has that self-belief. So I looked at that as inspiring.
Yeah.
You can hate that if you want to, or you could just emulate it and see where it gets you.
That's the GPS. Self-belief is the GPS.
Yeah.
If you don't have that shit, you're going nowhere.
Right.
Now, just because you have it doesn't mean you're going to put in the hard work. A lot
Correct.
of motherfuckers ain't going to move to Puerto Rico and dedicate 3 years of their life to becoming a boxer, becoming whatever the hell you want to do. Yeah. But that is the GPS.
Right.
You also need to know the address in order to get there and what the things you have to do in order to get there. But
it's the foundation.
If you do not believe in yourself, you're not going nowhere.
Right.
Simple as that. It was just fucking impressive to see, man.
Yeah.
It was just so impressive
now,
to see.
Floyd put out on Instagram like a month ago. He was like, yo, I'm going to fight Logan Paul in an exhibition. And if Jake Paul can get through his opponent, then I'll fight Jake Paul in an exhibition.
Floyd said he's not fighting anymore.
No way.
At the press conference.
Do you think that, like, what did this fight change his perspective on?
Yeah, Logan retired Floyd again. That's what people don't realize. Like, yo, it's facts. Like, you can say whatever you want, but Floyd said in the post-fight presser, he went from before this fight, he goes, you know what? I'll fight Jake, could get it afterwards. We'll fight the both of them. Matter of fact, I'll fight the both of them the same night. To afterwards, I don't think I'm doing any more of these exhibitions anymore. I've made $1 billion in all my fight purses. Everything's good. We out of here.
Yeah, I think
sorry to interrupt, but if he takes care of Logan in 2 rounds, you don't think he's fighting Jake after Tyron?
Yeah, he didn't like the way the sentence was worded, even though logically it's correct. What really the reality is, Floyd realized he's old, probably.
Yeah.
And so he's like, all right, I need to retire because this is fucking embarrassing.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the guy did it. You know what I mean? The guy hung in there, and he made you realize you're old.
If
you played a retired NBA player and he was like, bro, I'll kick the shit out of any young kid, whatever. And then he beat you, but he was like, yeah, I can't play these young kids anymore. You wouldn't be like, I fucking won, dog.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't claim I retired him.
You retired him.
Like, that's a wild
You
claim,
retired him, son. I know it's crazy to say. You have to understand, this hurts me. That's my favorite athlete ever. I love Floyd Mayweather. I'm the biggest Floyd Mayweather apologist when the whole world was hating on Floyd Mayweather because he was Floyd Money Mayweather and doing all this flashy shit and beating the shit out of all these fighters that people actually really loved. I love Floyd.
Yeah.
The whole fucking time.
Yeah.
Purest boxer I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
It pains me to see what I saw. I couldn't believe
Jordan on the Wizards.
Say what?
Jordan on the Wizards.
It was Jordan on the Wizards. Sometimes he
still
dropped
had
40.
He still had a jumper, but he just
wasn't there.
Yeah.
It just wasn't there. And yes, there was a weight differential, but Floyd was so good, it didn't fucking matter. It didn't matter.
But why didn't you say that Conor retired Floyd after Floyd beat Conor? Like, why wasn't that when he was like, because isn't that when Floyd was like, all right, I'm done, like, I'm retiring, and then he came out of retirement to fight Logan?
Well, then he got his 50-0 with Conor, so I think that's what we all, again, I'm very casual, but I always thought he's going to try to get to 50-0 because nobody's gotten that. And once he got that and won and made $100 million, and he actually stopped him and won, he's like, all right, I'm going to retire. I've accomplished everything I want to accomplish. With Logan, he said, I'm 44. It's just good to know I can hang with these young kids. He's not a pro boxer. He's a pro YouTuber.
Yeah.
And for you to be like, all right, I can't fight anymore, that you realize it's
never
not for
in
me.
my life
I'm done.
did I think I was going to say Floyd Mayweather barely beat a podcaster. Like, I can't believe I just said that sentence. Floyd Mayweather
He barely
lost
beat us,
2 rounds to a podcast.
How about this?
now,
Never did you think you would say,
Like,
yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, there you go.
Unbelievable. Never did I think in my life I would say that Floyd Mayweather got hit with a 1-2 clean by a podcaster. Floyd Mayweather didn't get hit by a 1-2 by some of the best boxers in the history of the sport. He got hit by a 1-2 by a podcaster, by a YouTuber, by a guy who would go around the world doing splits. That's what he would do. He would do splits around the world. Splits.
I didn't know he did that.
He'd jump in the air and do fucking splits. And he landed a 1-2, literally what George Janko said he was going to do. And we were like, George, get the fuck out of here. He did it. The exact fucking punch that we told George Janko he's a maniac for saying he's going to land a 1-2. George Janko is in the green room in fucking Phoenix and tells us, we got a crazy punch. What he's going to do is he's going to throw a jab and then throw a right hand afterwards. I'm like, motherfucker, did you say he's going to land a 1-2 on Floyd Mayweather? And he did. Unbelievable.